Practice run.
How are you?
It's government of the people, by the people, and for the people who show up. All right? And so for that bridge project, just like there are going to be some other great projects here in La Crosse, show up. All right? I've talked for 15 minutes. I'll leave here, and you will long forget what I've had to say. Just remember two words. Show up. All right? One of the great things I saw tonight was that Imber Ride Center. You can put La Crosse on the map as one of the great mountain bike destinations in the Midwest. You can have people from Chicago, Minneapolis, you can do the whole thing. And it will have incredible benefits to La Crosse. And the only difference between it happening and not happening is if people show up. That's the deal. And that's number 4, is the world is run by those who show up. One of the things I do want to end with is just the fact that we're making an amazing amount of progress. When you take a look at the bicycle movement, I just want to give you a couple of examples. I was at the Bike Summit a week and a half ago in Washington, D.C. This is Ray LaHood. He's the Transportation Secretary. I've seen 3 transportation secretaries before Ray LaHood speak at bicycle summits or at congressional meetings, and not one of them was a friend of the bike. Ray LaHood came to the Bike Summit. He spoke at a reception. There were 700 people there. 10 years ago, there were 70 people at the Bike Summit. This year, there were 700. His microphone didn't work, so he had to jump up on a table. And what did Ray LaHood have to say? He said, bike projects are relatively fast and inexpensive to build and are environmentally sustainable. They reduce travel costs, dramatically improve safety and public health, and reconnect citizens with their communities. Let's give Ray LaHood a hand. He said a few key things, and this is on his blog on Monday morning. He said, to set this approach in motion, these key recommendations were moving forward. To treat walking and bicycling as equals with other transportation modes. Remember Kevin's slide as how much money Wisconsin spends on bicycle and pedestrian projects. Go beyond minimum design standards, collect data on walking and biking trips. We talk about how low biking trips are. Biking and walking are 9% of the trips. They get 1% of the funding. Set a mode share target for walking and biking. That's the United States government setting a target. Setting targets makes things happen. It focuses people. We will send a man to the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. It worked. When you set targets, things happen. What else is happening? Kevin showed you the slides of Copenhagen. There's one more slide of Copenhagen. I hope you realize why this photo was taken from behind, and that is you don't have to see whether they're smiling or not. I can assure you they are not. That's a nice day out. This is one of my favorite photographs, and this is East Washington in Madison last year. We've spent some time with the mayor asking him to do things, and one of the things we asked for is in Bogota, in San Francisco, and New York over the past few years, on a few Sundays they opened their city up. And this is one of the projects that Krista worked on last year, and we got the mayor to agree to a program called Ride the Drive. And we did this in August last year, and we opened up 6 miles, the best miles of Madison, down John Nolan Drive, East Washington, State Street, on a Sunday, just for bikers and walkers. We had over 20,000 people participate in the first Ride the Drive. The mayor of Madison, Mayor Dave, has stated it is the single best event he has ever done as mayor. He got more positive responses on Ride to Drive than anything else. I think perhaps a Ride to Drive in La Crosse might be a good idea. And then here's my favorite. And I thought when I saw this is bicycle lanes on Pennsylvania Avenue. And I thought when I saw this, it was a joke. And I thought, well, that's somebody using their Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop and putting it to work. And it's not. This is what's going to happen in Washington, D.C. It's supposed to happen by May 20th, which is Bike to Work Week, is that there will be real, live, sophisticated bike lanes going down Pennsylvania Avenue. That says a few things. One, it says they're needed and somebody's doing something about it. It also shows how far the bicycle has come. It is amazing. Now, I want to leave you with one quick story. It's one of my favorite stories. When I was a freshman at Boston University, I had the opportunity to listen to Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House. And he walked into the auditorium, and he was about 5'4", and he was about 300 pounds, had clearly not been riding his bicycle. And Tip told the story of when he was 25 years old, he ran for Congress. And he lived next to two nuns. And every morning he'd get up and he'd go out and he'd pound the pavement, knocking on doors, asking people for their votes. And he won the primary, got into the general election, working hard, thought he was going to win. Final vote comes in. He loses by 1 vote. True story. Wakes up the next morning, he's dejected. He walks out of the apartment, walks downstairs. Outside are his two best friends, the nuns. They come up to console Tip. Tip, we're so sorry you lost. He goes, yeah. He goes, but you know what, ladies? I really want to thank you for your vote. It really means so much to me. They said, Tip, we didn't vote for you. They said, you did vote for me? They said, no, we didn't vote for you. So why not? They said, you never asked. All right? We have an amazing product here. It's called the bicycle. It is a very simple solution to many complicated problems. It's something that each and every one of us can do something about. Show up and ask. Game over. All right? Thank you very much for having me here.
It up for questions, and we have a microphone set up here in the middle. And I think what we'll do is I'm just going to have you come down front to the microphone, and you can ask the question. Dan, can you just make sure the microphone is on? We have about 10 minutes here for questions.
Are we on?
Very good.
Okay. I got them all set. Or you can just shout.
Oh, I would have preferred to shout.
Okay.
First thing I want to say, John, thank you very much for a very inspiring talk. It's great. I spent 35 years in public affairs, governmental affairs, as a legislative assistant and as an auditor. Let me assure you, if this many people show up for that overpass, it will be built.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody here that doubts that,